PTA instructional meeting when my daughter was in the first grade, and they said, when a meeting is supposed to start at 10:30, it starts at 10:30, and I've remembered that ever since, so it's ingrained in me. The top of the morning to you. Join me in this Irish song. Everybody sing with me. This is the day that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. This is the day that the Lord has made. I'm supposed to introduce myself. I'm Rosemary O. Patterson. Some of you all don't know me by that name, but that's what it is. Do we have any guests with us today that are not members of Young at Heart? Nope. All right. Do we have any people that are here for the first time? Nope. Well, we're all old hats. The first thing on the agenda that I was given, Lisa Black runs this program, and she gives you an itemized list of what to do. So the first thing is to say, we have birthday people among us. Stand up. And Peggy, I need you and Kirsten. The Shamrock things. Geneva Hensley, Kathy Moore, Kim Glass, Ken Mayo, Patsy Oliphant. Y'all stand up. Happy birthday to you. Where are you? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear members. Happy birthday to you. Nancy Hughley's is the 5th of March. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Geneva did not have that. Huh? Okay, Geneva. All right. Okay. We have one more? Okay, y'all need to give Geneva y'all's birthdays. Geneva doesn't know what your birthday is, apparently. Okay, do we have anniversaries that we can celebrate during the month of March? Well, I'm not sure was a good answer, Peggy. Hers was March the 3rd, but anybody else? Yours? Happy anniversary on the 20th. No. Happy anniversary. Anybody else? All right. Y'all come on in and find a seat. I'm happy to say that we have nobody to announce that's in the hospital today, which is a blessing for all of us. That's not usually the case, but we're delighted that that's the case today. Do we have special prayer requests? Not today? Kay Dietzel is back in Houston. Jane Cooper's family and the loss of Coy. And Loy Moore's family, yes. Oh, her daughter-in-law, emergency surgery right now. We'll. Huh? Shelley. We'll certainly remember her right now as she's undergoing surgery. Kirsten?
My daughter's mother-in-law is having today, kidney stones.
Her daughter's mother-in-law is having kidney stone lithotripsy, yes. Anybody else? Okay, if you have a request for cards to be sent after the program or during lunch, would you see Geneva at the back? And she sends cards out to people, and we have a card back there, a special card back there that Mary Lou wants us to sign. I believe that's all the announcements that we have. In case you didn't know it, this is our St. Patrick's Day celebration. We got all green. If you don't have green, you're in big trouble. You got to be punished. But But the first thing I'd like to do is ask the person with number 1 reading to stand up and read aloud so we can all hear it. Who's number 1? Mary Lou.
Wherever you go and whatever you do, may the luck of the Irish be there with you.
All right, number 2. Next, 3.
May you be poor in misfortunes, rich in blessings. May you know nothing but happiness from this day forth. May good luck be your friend in whatever you do. May trouble be always a stranger to you.
Great. 4. That's probably the one that we know the most because we hear that the most. Who's got number 5? She's holding a piece of candy. Go ahead. Right. Number 6. Oh, sorry. Well, we need to have that one repeated. 7. That was 6. 7. Okay, back in the back. Great. 8. What is it next? 9? No, 8. That you were 8? Okay, 9. Well, there are a lot of things that we could do today. Oh, wait, we're later. Hold up. You're number 10? Sit down, Leon. Sit down, Leon, boy. Today, I've imported some Irish singers and musicians to come and sing for us, and I'll introduce them, and then they will come and entertain for us. Today we have Irish soprano Kirsten O'Bennett O'Welpley and Thomas O'Edwards as they lead us in song. Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling from glen to glen and down the mountainside. The summer's gone and all the roses falling. It's you, must go and I must bide. But come ye back when summer's in the meadow, or when the valley's hushed and white with snow. It's I'll be here in sunshine or in shadow. Oh, Danny boy, I love you so.
Okay, now the words will be on someplace, and we are going to be singing He Looked Beyond My Fault, the Christian version. Okay? Y'all are going to sing with me. Amazing grace shall always be my song of praise, for it was grace that bought my liberty. I do not know just why he came to love me so. He looked beyond my fault and saw my need. I shall forever lift mine eyes to Calvary, to view the cross where Jesus died for me. How marvelous the grace that caught my falling soul. He looked beyond my fault and saw my need. How marvelous the grace that caught my falling soul. He looked beyond my fault and saw my need.
Well, that brings yeah, I was wondering. I think I have more material here than I have time, so y'all better tell me when it's about 20, 30, 25 till. We have some more blessings to read. Now, Leon, it's time now for you to read number 10. No, well, hey, come on, you can do it. The COVID didn't make you where you couldn't stand up.
May your blessings outnumber your shamrocks that grow, and the trouble avoid you everywhere you go.
11? Next. 12, is 12 next? Oh, Sue, stand up if you can, Sue. Who's next?
Independence Day is our celebration day for Ireland's favorite saint, who both saved us from the snakes and gave us our own day to celebrate our Irish heritage.
Next.
St. Patrick was a gentleman who, through strategy and style, drove all the snakes from Ireland. Here's a toast to his health. But not too many toasts, lest you lose yourself and then forget the good St. Patrick and see all those snakes again.
Next. What number was that? 14. 15. Who's got 15? Okay, Betty.
May the friendships you make be those which endure, and all of your great paths be small ones for sure. Entrusting in Him to whom we all pray, may a song fill your heart every step of the way.
Great. Next.
May the sun shine all day long, everything go right and nothing wrong. May those you love bring love back to you, and may all the wishes you wish.
Next.
Everybody is Irish on St. Patrick's Day, but if your name is Eisenhower, you got to wear something green to show it.
That's a quote from President Eisenhower. Who's next? All right, that's some Irish blessings for you. I've asked Peggy to come today to give us a little information about some Irish charms and Irish good luck charms.
Good morning. Now, y'all are talking about frivolity, but I got some serious stuff to talk about. Today, I'm going to talk about Lucky Charms cereal. I don't know about your house, but that's serious business at my house. Whoever gets the first unicorn is like the winner of the world at my house. Lucky Charms cereal didn't come around until 1975, and I guess I just thought it was there always. But it's filled with little marshmallows, and each one of the marshmallows has a meaning. There's a heart charm that gives life to objects. There's a star charm, which represents the power of light. There's the horseshoe charm, which represents the power of speed. The clover charm, which represents the power of luck. The blue moon charm represents the power of invisibility. The rainbow charm gives you the power to teleport. I've never had that before. That's kind of interesting. The red balloon charm is the power to float, and the unicorn brings color to the world. The old ones, when they first began, were the pink heart, yellow moons, orange stars, and green clovers. But since then, times have changed, and they can't leave anything alone. They have to change everything. So a couple of other Lucky Charms that come, not from the cereal Lucky Charms, are the Lucky Penny. The Irish would give a penny to somebody that was buying a new home, or maybe Grandma would slip it in the purse that she was giving you for Christmas. And this lucky penny must always be returned, or it wasn't any good. If you return it to the person that gave it to you, then luck would come to both of the people. The horseshoe, on the other hand, was made of iron. And iron was the iron horseshoe was put up above the door because that would ward off the mischief of the fairies, because fairies hated iron. Okay. The three green leaves of the clover, the shamrock, is more than the unofficial symbol of Ireland, and one of the marshmallows in the Lucky Charms cereal, I want to point out. The shamrock has held meaning to most of Ireland's historic cultures. The Druids believed that the shamrock was a sacred plant that could ward off evil. The Celtics believed that the shamrock held mystical powers due to the plant's three heart-shaped leaves. The Celtics believed that three was a sacred number. Some Christians also believed that the shamrock had special meaning because the three leaves represented the Holy Trinity. So that's what I have about the Lucky Charms. I'm not sure we have time to. Okay, let me know if I do. I'll come back. You finish.
All right, on a lot of mornings I go by by a service station and buy coffee, and I get a part of it the sweet kind and the rest of it the black kind, so it's good, So this morning I went and got my cup of coffee, and the lady was cleaning the machine. And so I said, well, I'll have to do something else. And so I went to get the little creamers to put in my coffee, and sure enough, Irish cream was there. And I said, oh, this is perfect. I'm doing an Irish program today. And she said, I am 29% Irish. And I said, well, good, you're going to be on the program. How many of you in this room know for a fact that, like the girl at the service station, that you have Irish heritage? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. How many of you think, and you're not sure about your heritage, you probably came from Northern Europe, how many of y'all think you probably got some? That's probably the rest of us. Probably the rest of us. If you have on anything green, stand up. Start anything, just start giving them I hope I have enough presents. All right. Everybody got one? Nancy, you kissed the Blarney Stone? Ooh, good for you. All right. All right, for the person who did not read the memo about wearing green gets the booby prize. So, Leon, stand up. He gets dishwashing detergent. All right, birthday. Now, wait a minute. All right, whose birthday of all, oh, I got a list here somewhere. Whose birthday is closest to the 17th? Those of you all that had your birthdays? When is yours? 19th? He gets a prize. Who else is as close to the 17th? When is yours? When? Come on, somebody.
Margaret, when's yours? Oh, okay.
Anybody closer to the 17th? Oh, 9th? Anybody closer than the 9th? All right, sorry, but you have to work for your prize. Okay, I'm going to give you a little Irish history right quick. I know sometimes I run on too long, and I'm sorry about that. In 1840 to 90, a vast majority of the immigration that people came to the United States were Protestant or Presbyterian prior to that. But in 1846, because of the potato famine, a flood of Irish people came, and they came into New York and to Boston mostly, and because of their differing language, they did not assimilate into society as well as the Protestants and Presbyterians had, because they mostly spoke English. The famine brought droves of Irish people into Boston and New York. They did not have skills. They were farmers and did not have skills. They had to take the menial jobs who made the least amount of money because they were willing to work to do anything to feed their families. The other people, Protestants and Presbyterians, who came and spoke English had better jobs, made more money. Therefore, they looked down on the Irish immigrants, and good society shunned them. Does that kind of make you think of today? When the economy was strong, the Irish were welcome to do all the jobs. But in a turndown such as happened in 1850, unrest came, and the Irish were discriminated against, and many ads said, "No Irish need apply." Time passed. The Civil War was a turning point for the Irish immigrants. Up to 40 Union regiments were Irish, and they gained a great respect. And the second and third generation Irish moved up in society. Some were getting educated and having professions. Many were active in labor and trade unions. I mean, think about it now. And police and fire services. Cities like Boston, Chicago, and New York City elected Irish politicians. And as you all know, in 1960, Irish American John Fitzgerald Kennedy was elected President of the United States. The first Catholic, I guess Protestants and Presbyterians must have voted for him, and all four of his grandparents were Irish immigrants. I must be part Irish because matriarch of the family, Mrs. Kennedy, named one of her daughters Rosemary, so Rosemary must be an Irish name. So what have we learned from this 170-year-old history? Who of us are Native Americans? And who of you and I are first, second, third, or fourth generation down from these immigrants? All of you who raised your hand when I asked. My children's grandfather came to America in 1913 for the very same reason that the Irish people came. For a while, these Greek immigrants faced the same discrimination that the Irish had 50 years before. That's why there's so many Greek restaurants. The lowly kitchen jobs were available to them, and they took the opportunity, and being smart and working real hard, a lot of them became entrepreneurs. Today, let us examine our own minds and hearts and decide what the Christians should do about those who are not like us by nationality, race, religion, color, or creed. How fortunate are we in this church to have an immigrant from Tonga as a minister in this church who has broadened our minds to include an island a small island in the South Pacific. My great-grandchildren, ages 6, 7, and 9, know on the globe where Tonga is. Now, before Sione, I couldn't have found Tonga if you'd asked me. Why do they know Sione? They know about people that dress differently in church. Why? Sione. My Sunday school class took up a collection, and many of you have donated money to help the people of Tonga who suffered from the earthquake and the tsunami. They lost most of their clean water, most of their plants and animals. We know that. And why do we know that? Is it 11 o'clock, Mary Lou? Why do we know that? Sione, let's bow our heads. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Sione is here today to talk to us about Tonga and his family and how some of us, have been able to participate with other churches and other people. So Sione, would you come and give us a little update?
It is a privilege and wonderful thing to be here with you today. I thank you for all that you have done. You have done a lot. Not only for my family, but you've done it to people that you don't even know. And so I want for you just a reminder of this whole event.
Undersea volcano eruption on Saturday. Communication with the South Pacific island chain remains largely cut off, but there is word of significant damage. Nick Schifrin has our report.
A blast so massive it was seen from space. Satellite imagery caught the explosion and a ball of ash billowing above and beyond the Tongan Islands. Before the blast, thick plumes filled the sky, shooting up 12 miles above sea level. On Tonga, the tsunami arrived quickly. Communications are almost completely down, and the death toll is unknown. But one confirmed dead, Britain Angela Glover, who ran a rescue dog charity. Her brother Nick spoke in the UK.
haven't got the words in my vocabulary to even describe how we're feeling at the moment.
The explosion caused waves around the world. In Pacifica, California, harbors flooded. In Japan, Sakihama port, fishermen looked on as their boats sank. And in Peru, coastal areas flooded and 2 women drowned after waves swept them away. In total, around the world, the explosion affected at least 11 countries and territories.
It's a rare explosion that reaches the stratosphere, and that's what got everyone's attention.
Ed Vansky is a senior researcher with the Smithsonian's Global Volcanism Program. He says the eruption comes from a chamber of magma forcing itself through rock.
Just like a bottle of soda, the gas that's contained in that liquid magma starts to expand. And so it reaches the surface right with the magma and starts an eruption. And when that hot magma hits the water expands and creates its own explosion.
A volcanic explosion that's believed to be the largest in 3 decades. For the PBS NewsHour, I'm Nick Schiffer.
What is interesting about this is that we always knew that there is a living volcano. We see it every day if you are close by. Matter of fact, one of the islands that my mom and dad doing ministry right across from that island was a living volcano. I can see it every time that I go down to the beach. I don't have to walk far. I see this intrusive mountain. It's like a ant pile in the middle of the ocean, and you always see smoke come out of it. But we never thought that something like this happened. This is a brand new thing for the Tongan folks. Because, and the reason is, nobody ever carried down the story when the water is like this, do that. That never happened. But Tonga is sit right in the joining plate. And so, a lot throughout the United States, from California all the way to the middle of our state, there are some plates that they sit there. And so when that shift, this whole deal happened. And so the whole world, this is one of 2 things that Tonga have been put on the map. I mean, you can see in there, like she was talking about, most people never knew where Tonga is because it's in the middle of nowhere. If you really want to go nowhere, go to Tonga. That's where you need to go. It's a group of 170 islands, and none of the islands, I mean, every single one. If this volcano was heard in Alaska, the explosion was that big. Some ideologists say that the size of it is as powerful as about 600 size of the bomb we dropped in Japan. And that is, I mean, the ocean kind of squished most of them under there. And so with the little that went up, there are some other videos in here, but I'll skip because I know you're hungry. I am. Somebody say amen. What goes directly, Mel, put some of the pictures, some of the images here. This is a church. That's what's left. There's a school. There's a cemetery. That's fishes. Boats in the middle of well, what you gonna get out there in land? People try to figure out where their home was. Just pause right there, Mel, for a moment. This is why these things were so deadly. Now, even with all of that, we're going to continue. I want for you to see some of these pictures if you haven't. Most of these are online. So the volcano erupted, and so instantly tsunami happened because water has been moved. And so the water just cuts through islands, and so as it washes through the islands, it took that long for the dust to come back down. So just imagine that, you got a bucket of water, you walk into a room that is, you need to do something with it, you just With brute force, you just pour that thing, cuts right through, and then now it's clean. The dust does fall. And when the dust fall, scientists talk about the dust from volcano. It's so fine. It's like glasses. And when that dust just fall and pack on wet floor, it pack really good. It suffocate a lot of the crops. These are elephant ears. What you call this is a cousin of elephant ears, and this thing we eat. Our best greens are elephant ear. Most of the elephant ears here. So when you think about spinach, but you don't eat it. You have to cook, otherwise you break into a hive. But this row over here, these kind of elephant ear, they grow the stem of here. You come up out of the ground, and then we harvest that and we cook it. That's what we eat. But this is what happened to all of the crops that was growing with the season. I mean, most of them die because they cannot breathe. The ashes were too heavy and suffocate most of them. I talked to my brothers. The anxiety, go ahead, Mel, continue to roll. I'll talk. That's a lucky dog right there, huh? We have a beautiful vantage point of looking at the island, what happened out there. Help coming. There's New Zealand or Australia, military. We're on the way. And pause there for a moment, Mel. Let me talk a little bit about this. So as soon as this happened, the whole world were looking. I told you there were two things that put Tonga on the map. When the last time I talked about that, when we changed from 1900 to 2000, Tonga was the first nation to see the daylight. That's why I say God is a Tongan. When he said, "Let there be light," he was standing right there. I make that claim in the seminary, and they kicked me out of the class. So the whole world were looking at this. This is the second thing, because it impact, as you saw the map, it impacts so many nations from the middle of nowhere. So New Zealand and Australia wanted to get there and get ready, because majority of our drinking water were rainwater. I didn't know that rainwater have some stuff in it. When I was growing up, rainwater was the best clean water that we have, and we just collected. It's just like you live out, in a farm. This is one of the island. There's probably one or two houses left after it gone. If I remember this correctly, this might be one of the parsonage. Majority of islands, in the middle of the island is a Methodist church. And you can tell that the church is the core of the life of the people, because at the center of the village is a church. And it's typically 99% of the time it's a Methodist church. And the whole village was built around there. And so wherever and whenever there is time for the village to get together, they get together at the Methodist church, no matter what. And so when these things happen, most of the pictures that we first got is it's probably the surviving building is the pastor's house or the church. There's a brave woman. You see the dust at the back? I mean, it was so heavy that he kind of leaned on things. This is a New Zealand Navy boat. It got there. And then from that big boat, majority of some of these islands don't even have enough dock system where these boats can lean. So they get to the little boats. These are from those little islands. And so the rainwater, when the dust came down, no rainwater were safe, because Tonga did not have a weather system to forecast this thing. They didn't have time to save anything. So majority of the drinking water, those tanks were open, wait for the rain to come. Well, it was rain, but it was not a rainwater, it was rain dust. And so poisoned most of the drinking water. And this is how the folks get by. They Look at that. Blue, clean, clean water. And look at the tree at the back. It's all gray because everything will touch. And so some of these islands, about 3 of these islands, even with all of this, how big it was and how damaging it was, there were only 3 confirmed deaths out of that. Somebody say amen. So the Tongans say, well, God did not go too far. It was close by, watch over us. And so that we are grateful for. Now we just have to go to work now and recover. For the time that most of us overseas could not reach home, it was anxiety to no end, because you don't know. We really don't know who is alive, who is. So for us and most of grandkids that have some kind of interaction with my name, or that funny dress. I mean, we had the funeral yesterday. I walked into the midget class where the family were at, and they were talking about me. Guess who was leading the talk? Pastor Mark. And how he introduced me to this boy. You seen that guy that wear a dress over there? That's the guy. And I was walking in and I say, I am that guy. But those are the kind of things that make people pause for a moment and say, hey, who is that? And when this happened, who is that become how can we help that guy? And so as of this week, we have been able, among many, many people from way beyond here, I think it's about $22,000 that have been given toward this. And so here's what the update that I'm giving you about this. I have a direct line to the annual conference office at home. I know those people personally. And so originally I thought, okay, that there's always anxiety when we have to do disaster relief, if it's going to get to the people. There's always a trust factor. Our trust sometimes and our charitable spirit get ruined along the way, and we're hesitant to do that. I mean, you just look how we look at homeless people around, Didn't I give you? Yeah, so I gave you that this morning, and you drive by the same day. It was like drunk as all get out. And you wonder, okay, so I thought the church is the best way to go. But then I thought they will get it to the right place. But every organization have a process, and process take time. And so I heard from my sister. I have a little sister. You see her been here before. I live in Dallas. There is a good-sized community of Tongan people by the airport, DFW, and Euless. And I heard my sister was sharing with me a story, what their conference were doing. Their annual conference and their district where their church is at decided to pay for shipping of 2 20-footer container to ship from Dallas to Tonga. And it'll take about 28 days to go. And what they were doing, the conference say to the community, there are 2 Methodist church, Tongan Methodist church there, say, well, we'll give you a 20-footer, you fill it up, your 20-footer, you fill it up. And so the community then pack their little whatever they can for their family, and if all of their families are overseas, they pack for their neighbors, or they pack for their village. And so it's not that much to fill up a 20-footer. Most family were given a 55 drum gallon, 55 gallon drum. Those big blue or metal one, and so one family to one barrel. That's pretty much what you do. That is the immediate response from New Zealand and Australia, because they were close. So the government of New Zealand just simply say, there's 200 20-footer container here, tell the Tongan community just to come and pack it. And of course, it was not just the Tongan community. Everybody in New Zealand chip in. They'll drop by with, what do you do? You know, a box of ramen noodles. Somebody gonna eat out of that for a week. A box of, Spam, whatever, coffee, peanut butter, crackers, is those things. And so one family, the one drum. And so my sister was telling me they were doing this in Texas. I say, I haven't heard from my bishop. To this day, I yet to hear from my bishop. And I said, well, okay. So they were doing this, and I thought, for my people over here in Louisiana, this is what we're going to do. So the money that you have given, I am in the conversation of paying for shipping of a 40-footer from Dallas. And so I arranged with a couple of Tongan pastors over there for the Tongan community, and they start taking numbers of those who would be able to participate. There were too many Tongan family to fill in those 2 containers. And I said, well, you have Tongan relatives over here in Louisiana, they want to help. And they look different, but they are Tongan people because they know how to love. And they take money from their rent. They take money from their extra meal. They take money from their medication cabinet, and they want to touch somebody. And so the update is that I am working on that. By the end of this month, I talked with the folks in Dallas. I'm about to enter into a contract with a shipping company, and I'll go to Dallas to see through that they'll do that. We'll fill it up, and we're going to send it home. And some of you have done amazing stuff. One day, my brother say, well, the electricity here is on and off, and it's going to be like that because the dust, we just don't know how to deal with it. The airplane that was on that, they wanted to get there right away with drinking water. They could not land because the runway was filled with dust. Tonga didn't have a machinery to do that. And so there was a call out on the radio. About 300 Tongan show up with their brooms to sweep their thing. They sweep it overnight. And that's the kind of people we are talking about. When there is something to get done, they will get it done because it need to get done. And so we are grateful for that. The other side of this is Tonga was one of small nation that was not touched by the pandemic. So when the ships of AIDS got there, pandemic got there at the same time. So they have a double whammy. They have to figure out what they do with this tsunami and this volcano eruption. Now they have to deal with the. Luckily, it was 80%. They already got 2 vaccines, the whole nation. See, when I was growing up, this kind of vaccine stuff, we didn't investigate. We didn't have a talk about it. It was like, the school nurses show up and we line up and everybody got shot. Yep. Now I understand where you send your medicine to test on people. Because we done that. And which is great. It was free for us. It's very, very expensive. But these are when the medical community say it is safe to do it, small little nation like mine, the first line of, let's figure it out as we go and refine as we go. And so the whole nation went on lockdown. And I think I talked to my brother 2 days ago, and he said that they are coming out of it because they almost to, I think it's 98% everybody are vaccinated. And so they are comfortable enough to come with that. Any question? Any comment? Any? Well, what my big, that's a good question. My big prayer from the get-go is that I pray for rain to come. Now, when these things were washed, guess where they washed? They just washed to the ocean. That's why I put those fishes out there. I mean, because it was an intense heat. They come out. I feel bad for the fishes. So the country, the government announced nobody eat any seafood, and I think it might be lifted by now. Because the dust were everywhere. Trees and animals and houses were all washed to the ocean. And so they did not know what to do. We didn't have the tools to investigate all those details. And so there have been rain. Music Mountain, you're familiar with Music Mountain? It's a local company in town. The owner there is a good friend of mine. A member at Grace when I was at Grace. I just remember him out of the blue, so I call him up and I say, "Is there any way that I can get a pallet of water from you?" He said, "I don't do pallet." And he was thinking a whole different level than I am. He was thinking about a container full of stuff. I said, No. I don't have money for all of that. So I pick up a pallet of water Monday from him to send home. For this reason, people still need. And what it is, most of the island, I mean, everybody were impacted. But most that really hit hard, that's where most of the aids go. So there still left a lot of people without drinking water. So the rain have done a lot of washing, but the dust is still pretty thick. So it's not enough rain yet. Not only done a lot of washing, but they are able now to have some drinking water. They are in the process now. I talked to my brother the other day. He was sitting there sucking air. I was like, dude, what's going on? My brother is bigger than me. This is my youngest brother. He's bigger than me. And I was like, you push away from the table. You'll be fine. Stop eating. And he said, I just came back from the farm. We were planning and we were doing other stuff. And so, they are trying to come back because they don't have enough money to keep buying groceries. And if you buy grocery, when I was growing up, if you buy grocery, we do not look kindly on you. Because that means you are lazy. Everybody have land, you need to work your land. It's like living in the country over here. And so buying stuff, but that's life. Any other comment? Any other question? You ready to eat? Yeah. All right. Thank you.
It seems like such a little thing that we can do, and we know now from Sione's talk today that we could do the collection again. There's nothing to stop us from doing another collection so that he can ship another 20 or 40 or whatever he can ship container. So when you go to your Sunday school classes and individually, we need to remember this. And he's here at the church. He's easy to find. He's the big guy with the skirt on. He's easy to find. All right, right now I want to thank the people in the kitchen that are cooking, but I'd like to say a few things first. I have a recipe here for traditional Irish beef and Guinness stew. Now, if you want to cook this recipe, you're going to have to get somebody, or you yourself, go to the liquor store and get you a pint of Guinness beer, because you got to put the Guinness beer. I also have a recipe here for Irish cottage pie, aka shepherd's pie, which is what we're going to be served today. And it doesn't have Guinness beer in it, but you could, if you wanted to, put Guinness beer in it. I don't know if I should do this or not, but I'm going to do it anyhow. I know the Methodist Church is kind of liberal, and I'm in there with them. And I've had this package for a long time. I think about 20 years ago, somebody, I didn't have a brown sack. About 20 years ago, somebody gave this package to my husband for Christmas. And we had a bar at the other house, and it made the move. And this morning I thought, I think I know where it is. It's never been opened, and I'm not telling you we're going to open it today. But just in case you ever want any, I've got the history of it over there. Finney's Irish Cream Liqueur. And you can put this in coffee if you're so inclined, and it tastes real good, I'll just tell you. But the way they made it, they decided many years ago that they would take two of their famous products in Ireland and figure out how to put them together. The first, of course, is Irish whiskey. And it's a big dairy farming country, and so they had pure, farm-raised, heavy whipping cream. And so somehow they figured out how to blend Irish whiskey and fresh farm whipping cream together, and they came up with that bottle. Now I'm going to put it back over here. And if any of y'all want to come fight over it after we get through eating, y'all can. Let's bow for a word of prayer for our blessing. Our Father, we come today thankful that we can come to this building, and we can come with people of like minds, and we can come and enjoy fun and fellowship and the good food that we're about to enjoy. We want to thank you now that immigrants came to this country and brought their foods with us and brought their traditions with them and gave us the wide variety of experiences that we have in our lives today. And we're especially thankful today that we have Sione here who can broaden our interest of the world and give us other opportunities for service because, God, we know that we are your hands and feet. Now, thank you for this food that we're about to receive, and help us to enjoy visiting with each other through the rest of the meal and keep us safe as we go to our separate homes. May the luck of the Irish be with you. Amen.